Good morning friends, welcome to Sharekhan pre-market roundup. Firstly in the global markets, yesterday when we closed, most of the European markets were trading flat to negative, whereas the American markets were showing a flattish opening for the Dow Jones and Nasdaq. But finally by the end of the day, European markets closed in green by around 0.25%, whereas the American markets were also up by around 75 points on Dow Jones. Coming to our markets, yesterday with lot of volatility at one point of time, Nifty which was up by around 25 to 30 points. From there it corrected and went into red by around 30 points on the lower side. But finally by the end of the day managed to close on a positive note, up by around 1 point only. Whereas the Bank Nifty which was up by around 0.5% at one point of time at 19,000 plus levels, closed in red by around 0.7%. And there was some weakness seen in banking stocks yesterday. FIs yesterday were buyer around 270 crore rupees in cash market, whereas GIs were seller around 130 crore rupees in cash market, whereas FIs in index future were buyer by around 8 crore rupees, whereas FIs in index options were buyer by around 911 crore rupees. So there was a big positive flow coming in FNO segment yesterday by FI, whereas coming to some global data, yesterday crude tanked around 2 to 3% at one point of time when there was news which broke out about the Iran nuclear deal. But by the end of the day, crude recovered very smartly from around 3250, 3260 levels to close at 3400 levels again. Whereas on other data front, today China came out with GDP numbers which came in at 7% versus 6.8%. So let's hear on derivatives now.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. The Indian benchmark indices entered the volatile day of trade slightly in a red terrain. As you have seen, the Nifty started the session on a flattish to negative note, but after a few minutes of negative trading, Nifty has recovered from the day's low. As you have seen, the Nifty has taken support at around 8440 levels, and from there it recovered sharply, backed by gains in many of the blue chip counters like BPCL, Infosys, HUL, Lupin Lab, due to which Nifty has made a fresh intraday high at around 8503 odd levels. But in last hour of trade, we have seen some selling pressure in index, due to which it ended the session at 8465 levels with a negligible loss of 0.19%. In this period, we have seen that short positions were built up by market players as open interest is increased by 1.40% from 2 crore 12 lakhs to 2 crore 15 lakhs. Approximately 3 lakh shares were added in open interest, and Nifty futures price decreased marginally by approximately 17 rupees. However, Nifty cost of carry also decreased by 43% from 5.66 to 3.18%. Also, Nifty futures premium decreased from 22 points to 11 odd levels. On the options front, PCR is increased marginally by 1% from 1.06 to 1.07, which is clearly indicating that put option has seen good build-up in yesterday's trade. We have seen that put option has added approximately 8 lakh shares in open interest, whereas call option has added approximately 5 lakh shares in open interest. India VIX was down by 1.60% and finally settled at 16.01%. In the options activity, we have seen that 8,500, which is highest number of shares in open interest, it has seen marginal unwinding in yesterday's trade, and 8,600 call option has added approximately 7% shares in open interest, followed by 8,800 call option has added approximately 9% shares in open interest. On put option front, we have seen that 8,400, 8,500 has added approximately 10% and 6% shares respectively. Looking at the overall options activity, as 8,500 has seen unwinding activity, and out of the money call options are adding positions in the call option, which is positive sign for the market going ahead. On bank period front, there are two securities in bank period. One is MTech Auto, second is India Cement. And yesterday, FIs were net buyers of 1400 odd crores in future and option segment. They were net buyers of 889 crore in DEX futures. They were net buyers of 912 crore in DEX options. They were net sellers of 428 crore in stock futures, and they were net buyers of 40 crores in stock options. A Friday's VWAP stands at 8,400. Lower range would be 8,400. 8,400 and 8,420 may act as a good support on a closing basis, and higher range would be 8,600. Currently, Singapore Nifty is up by 19 points, which is at 8483.50. We may see a flattish to positive start in Nifty futures today. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Now let's have a look at trading idea for the day, that is DLF, and some important news flow. DLF is likely to raise about 3,000 crore rupees via private equity, as in talks with Singapore government investment arm GIC. to sell stake in a new housing project in New Delhi. Government has approved transit-oriented development policy for Delhi that will allow higher floor area ratio and will enable taller buildings. Action to be taken is long DLF with a stop at 112.2 for target of 118 and 120. Workers Union at Salem plant has issued a strike notice. L&T Finance has acquired 26% stake in Grameen Capital. Ramco Cement has won a multi-million-dollar deal from Cobham Aviation. Lupin has seek shareholders approval for issue of securities up to 7,500 crore rupees. India Cement is looking to move Supreme Court against suspension of CSK. Tata Motors number came out yesterday. JLR sales at 39,602 units and Land Rover sales at 32,447 units, whereas Land Rover sales at 7155 units. SpiceJet is looking to launch one sale on June 15, that is today. SpiceJet is looking to book 1 lakh tickets under this scheme. Coal India has relinquished 170 square kilometer lease area in Mozambique. Adani Port has entered into exclusive talks to acquire Gangavaram Port near Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh for $2.1 billion. Aditya Metallic has said that they have been granted extension of lease for 3 manganese mines till March 2020. IMD has given statement that monsoon rain in India is 5% below normal as of July 14. JSPL promoters pledged 3.49% stake in company with Axis Trustee Services. FDI equity has jumped 48% after launch of Make in India. This is a statement by Commerce and Industry Minister. Defence Ministry has said that government has cleared close to 4.7 billion of new defence equipment orders. Goldman Sachs India's current activity indicator increased to 5.6% in May from 4.3% in April. Business activity in India is showing recovery. Cochrane has received board's approval for sale of consumer care unit. Stocks with positive bias for today are Union Bank, Apollo Hospital and BPCL. Stocks with negative bias are Shriram Transport Finance and Exide Industries. Stocks for investment are Aditya Birla Nuvo, Glenmark, HDFC Bank, Reliance Industries and TCS. Results to watch out for today are Z Entertainment, profit expected at 228 crore rupees. South Indian Bank, profit expected at 50.8 crore rupees and ST Media Limited, profit expected at 16.7 crore rupees. That's all friends from our side. Thanks and have a nice trading session.